It's Russo's revenge, like Jaws the Revenge, but somehow even worse. How fucking sad is that? I'm John Redlin with a retro review of WCW Nitro from August 21st, 2000. This was a terrible show. There were a lot of run-ins and a lot of bullshit and everything, and after the somewhat cohesive, not necessarily great or even good or even decent episode of Thunder, this was just a lot of run-ins and a lot of bullshit and a lot of trash. And oh, Scott Steiner threatened to assault a woman. And then actually assaulted a woman to close the show. That's great right there. That's how you build a main eventer. I know he's supposed to be a heel, but fucking hell. So, it's in Wichita, Kansas. Starts with Vince Russo talking to Scott Steiner on the phone. Seemingly, Jeff Jarrett's like, I want a shot against somebody. I want a match. I want to face Goldberg. Goldberg cost me a match last week. So we get Elix Skipper with Lance Storm versus Chavo Guerrero with Hugh Morris. And it's a Cruiserweight Championship match. Storm joins commentary and then interferes later. And they go on a brawl to the crowd, Storm and Morris do. And then we get the CFL ring, the Grey Cup ring, to the head. And Elix Skipper retains the Cruiserweight Championship. That's exactly how we should utilize our talents. Let's just have them fist the ring right there. So then Russo comes out and calls, he basically makes a Wizard of Oz joke, but says, maybe if I click my heels together 3 times, this is something Vince Russo said, by the way, maybe some of those Kansas fairies will come out and, grant me my wish. Good Lord. Go back and watch this, because, man, Vince Russo really just was letting all his feelings out right there. I'm not saying that WCW could have been saved by this point, no thanks to Russo, but fucking hell, he just didn't care. He was wanting to kill everybody, including the credibility of any of the talents that he booked. So then Goldberg gets in Russo's face after being up to security and says, oh, you can't touch me, Russo says, or you'll be fired. Except you have an ironclad contract, so I can't fire you. Okay? But then he offers him his release, said, you'll be paid in full. And then Goldberg rips that up. And Russo even said at one point in the line, or with the line, you can show up anywhere you want next Monday night. You can show up on Raw. It could be Goldberg versus Steve Austin. Except Steve Austin was still out with a neck injury. So, yeah, Russo was insufferable during this. Absolutely fucking insufferable. Good fucking Lord. And then Scott Steiner is at Goldberg's girlfriend's hotel room. I don't actually know if that was his girlfriend at the time or just some woman they hired. And then it implies that he assaults her, but then does later. We then get Booker and Russo in the ring, and Russo's like, I made you. No, Russo, you've never made anybody. You've never helped anybody, except put their goddamn careers in the bin. And axe kick to Russo. Good. It would have been nice if this would have wrote out Vince Russo from the show, but unfortunately it didn't. Then Goldberg gets on a motorcycle. Great idea for a guy that just came back from an arm injury after he put his hand through a limo window. Great idea there, but fortunately he didn't crash. And then it's going to be, if Kevin Nash doesn't show up, it's going to be Chuck Palumbo versus Booker T for the world title later. Chuck Palumbo in a world championship match. Chuck Palumbo's a very good wrestler. He should have not been in a world title match at this point. Kwee-Wee with Paisley versus Lash LaRue and Major Guns. Mixed tag action. Thanks, I hate it. Paisley tried, and so did Major Guns. Neither should have been allowed to ever be in a wrestling ring, at least at this point. It was fucking embarrassing. They did the weird rocket launcher thing. Lash LaRue and Major Guns did, and Major Guns pins Paisley. Go back and watch a little bit of this, where Paisley and Major Guns try to trade slams. It was fucking embarrassing. I'm not a wrestler. I will never claim to be a wrestler. I will only claim to ever be a fan, but fucking Christ, watching this, it was embarrassing to see as a wrestling fan because they weren't ready to be on TV. It was fucking rotten. And then, oh boy, it gets even better. ICP is back. That's apparently something fans were clamoring for, and by fans, I mean idiots. I know the ICP did a lot of really good shit with their fame and did a lot of good stuff for charity and raising money and everything, and did a lot of good charitable shit. I'm not knocking them for that. Their music was terrible, and the fact that they were ever allowed in wrestling was terrible. So yeah, the Muta and Vampiro are also there. They attack Tank and 3 Count who are out there, and then it's going to be a Juggalo Championship match a little bit later. Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And you thought Shikara was bad. Shikara at least had some good athletes. Okay, cool. By the way, take a look at the Juggalo Championship Wrestling belt. Take a look at it. It's just a copy of the WWF Winged Eagle belt, just with a red strip instead. Then Vampiro calls out Sting. Then Tank says, oh yeah, I'm going to face you later, Vampiro, for that title. Everybody's just making matches. Natural Born Thrillers are here. That's Sanders, O'Hare, Jindrak, Reno, Stasiak. Then Palumbo is also going to be out there, but he was preparing for his match. Why was above average Mike Sanders allowed to talk for any length of time or at all? I don't know. Filthy Animals come out. And then we get Ray, Hoovy, and Disco versus Jindrak, O'Hare, and Sanders. Conan and Stasiak on commentary. So Stasiak was on commentary, and Conan was just fucking annoying. And I like Conan, but he was not very good at this point because the Filthy Animals were a dog shit stable. So, it was sloppy. This was very sloppy. Why was Disco Inferno? Why was Tigress? Thankfully, Sean O'Hare laid out Tigress for what she was worth. Nothing, basically. Not a goddamn thing. And I don't even mean the woman herself. I just mean the character. The character is fucking rotten. Yeah, so there we go. Disco Inferno also in a match in 2000. Embarrassing. Booker versus Palumbo, WCW title match, and Russo was the ref. That's how we're going to guarantee you a new title, or a new champion, that is, a new world champion, and oh, God, it was embarrassing. Natural Born Thrillers run in, then Vito, and then Nash, who hits Booker with a chair. And then Palumbo wins. Oh, wait, but Miller's here to say, hey, Russo, you and me have as much stroke as each other. Gross. And says, well, here's the thing. The belt belongs to Booker. Booker says, no, I didn't beat the guy. And then they restart the match. Miller is the ref. Russo joins commentary for about 5 seconds. Doesn't do anything. Book in for 3. Whew. Good God. Goldberg then shows up to the hotel and sees a message from Scott Steiner written in lipstick. I assume the girlfriend's lipstick or the hotel maid. I don't know. Actually, judging by that hotel, I don't know if they had maid service. Well, the guy go back to the arena. See you soon. Good. We wasted that much TV time. Just say, hey, maybe you could have sent a camera crew over there and just seen that. Or Goldberg could have just fucking waited because Scott Steiner was clearly going to come back to the arena. ICP joins commentary for this match. Vampiro versus Tank Abbott. I hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate everything about the Juggalo Championship Wrestling brand. It's fucking rotten. Run-ins by ICP, and then I Muda missed, and I guess Vampiro retained. Whatever. No rules. Doesn't matter. I don't fucking care. Vito and Russo yell at each other. Vito, you're going to face Kevin Nash tonight. Chronic, Brian Clark versus Norman Smiley, the unlikely or the reluctant hardcore champion. Adams joins commentary. Then the Harris brothers show up. The Nazi Harris brothers, that is. They have Nazi tattoos, so they deserve to be fucking shamed for it. And then Clark goes through the table, and Smiley's thrown on him and retains and is unhappy about it. These storylines suck. They fucking suck, and these matches just are goddamn rotten. Miller then says Storm will defend the U.S. title in a tag match, and Miller will pick his partner. And then Scott Steiner yells at Goldberg's girlfriend. You're just a pawn. Why are you upset? As a roided up man is yelling at her on camera. Nash and Vito, a big suplex that is from Vito, got a big pop. Good stuff. Good. I liked it. Match wasn't all that bad. Chokeslam for 2, and then jackknife times 2. But oh no, Booker shows up and causes a DQ. Vito refuses, a look from the medical staff. And then we get Lance Storm, almost said James Storm. Lance Storm and Jeff Jarrett versus Hugh Morris, Mike Awesome. Well, it was messy. Skipper runs in and attacks Morris. Then we get a guitar to the back of Awesome's head. His back and his head. And it almost seemed like Jarrett was swinging for Storm, because whoever got the pin, even Jarrett, would get the U.S. title. And then Storm retains. Cool, whatever. Scott Steiner and Goldberg's girlfriend. Jarrett attacks. A whole bunch of people run in, including Booker and Nash and a whole bunch of others and everything. And Booker and Goldberg are handcuffed in respective corners while Scott Steiner puts the limpest, wettest Steiner recliner on Goldberg's girlfriend. To be fair, I knew he didn't want to hurt the girl, but good God, this was uncomfortable and this was unnecessary. And it was trying to build up this anger between Goldberg and Scott Steiner, and nobody cared. Nobody fucking cared about it. I'm bored. This episode bored me. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.